What are you doing, beloved?
Attention, attention, my black brothers. What I want y'all to do right now is take out the do-rag, the silky, tie it down. I want to see the waves glistening. If you got nappy hair, pick it. Don't let nobody discourage you.
Ariel.
Black boy, black boy.
I almost did.
Oh my god, it sounded like it had truly fallen. Like I thought I just heard liquid running. What was it?
It was my drink, girl. You know I'm a red cup, solo cup type of bitch. Guess what I'm drinking?
Fireball and juice.
Not this time.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord.
I'm drinking a cider. I'm drinking a Stella Rosa Cidre. Very
Stella Rosa.
I like this. It's very cute. It's very in my hood rat ratchet solo cup.
What's funniest to me is that you really could have just drank it in the bottle and to waste a plastic cup and a straw. So wow, because you could have just recycled the glass alone and spared the turtles and the landfill.
Wow, bitches drink out of straws, okay? And I also couldn't. I don't know, like it was weird trying to like. This could have worked, but neither here or there. What are you drinking, girlie?
Pinot.
You're a real white woman. You're a real white woman. Did you do
what? I just might be.
Did you do anything on this lovely snow day we had the other day?
No, and Omar asked me the same thing, and I was just like, it's like 30 degrees outside. Why would I do that?
I love the snow, bitch. I didn't go outside though.
Exactly.
I was snapping all over Instagram and things. So yeah, IG story ended up talking about all this weather. Bitch, I did not touch that snow at all. I said, y'all got me.
I didn't even know it was coming. So when I looked out the window, I was like, So one thing I can't do is enjoy snow that I did not anticipate coming. At no point did I realize like, okay, it's really going to hit here. And the funniest thing is like, it didn't hit on the Eastern Shore at all. I don't think. Because I was looking at the little news map or whatever. I'm pretty certain it didn't hit on the Eastern Shore. From what I saw, I'm gonna have to ask my mom because I could be lying. Oh, she don't even live over there. I'm gonna have to ask my sister. But no, I didn't and wasn't going to. I don't want to be outside right now. It's cold.
Yeah, no, it is. It's too chilly right now.
It is. And the thing is, it's wintertime and okay, it would be fine any other time. Like, I don't hate the winter, but I'm already not in the best mood because of this pandemic. So why would I go outside in the miserable ass snow? Like, no.
Yeah. And your birthday coming up too, girl. So it's like the girl is turning 20.
2 days.
You turning 25.
Yeah. I'm turning 25, y'all.
You turning I know how old you turning, girl.
And 25 squared.
Okay, so you're turning 26. How are you feeling? How are you feeling?
I feel like I've said I'm 26 like 7 times in the last month or two. Like, so I guess mentally I'm already there. Like, I don't even really need to. I've already put 25 behind me. I don't really give a shit. It doesn't, like, 26 is so unordinary. Like, I'm assuming so ordinary. It's not very interesting.
Nothing special. Well, you made it to 20
even.
Well, you're gonna make it to 26, so that's exciting. Some people unfortunately can't.
We don't know. We got 2 days, girl. We'll see.
Girl, shut the fuck up.
Tomorrow.
What is up, everybody? It is your boy Lord Devry,
and I'm Derwin King.
And welcome back to another episode of That Black Boy Joy, where we create a space where Black boys can be themselves.
And so much more.
So I'm trying to do this thing without my glasses, but it's honestly the most weirdest thing ever not to have my glasses on.
It was so interesting to see you without them. You know, I don't usually wear mine. Sometimes I'm like...
Because the only reason is because...
By the way, just a forewarning. We got an extra guest over here, so I'm pretty sure that's complicating our internet again. So if you see a bitch drop out, at least you'll be prepared this time. If you see a bitch freeze...
You know, I did see a little cut of you,
Yeah, I bet you did. I bet you did.
Oh my
I don't.
God.
There's nothing I can do about that, and it's unfortunate, but it's true, honey. When I live
It's
alone,
not.
we ain't had to worry about it.
I feel like
But
my
until
glasses
then,
are. I feel like my glasses are giving me say so for some reason. Like the glare is giving me like very much say
like
so
that
with Doja Cat.
disco reflection.
That's why I took them off. But then I was like, bitch, you cannot see worth shit. Like it gives clear skin and clear face and
Yeah, it
bam.
does.
But the girl can't see, so
Jumps out
I'll
at you.
pop on and off. But how have you been? How are you doing, girlie?
Girl, I'm
Back.
tired as a bitch. I got so much stuff to do. Today, I like slept in today. No, I didn't. I tried to. So this was supposed to be my buffer day for work, as in like I anticipated some people were gonna reach out to me for whatever reason. But one of my coworkers called me at 9:30 this morning. And
Oh no,
I was
ma'am.
like, okay, well, I thought I was gonna be asleep till like 11. So I hopped up and then naturally I started doing other things for work or whatever. And then tomorrow I have to wake up early. So I'm just waiting for the day that I can get rest,
Rest.
uninterrupted rest.
Well, this weekend, and you off? Oh, you're technically on vacation Saturday, but like it technically can start tomorrow, right? It can.
No, I have
Can it?
things to do tomorrow. It's not work. It's not like the job that I'm getting paid for, but I have obligations tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Okay. So you do have something to look forward to Saturday, right? Saturday can be a day of rest because it's your day, it's your
Yeah,
birthday.
but see, then there's this pressure. Okay, I'm not trying to be pessimistic. I'm really not. But then
Keep it
there's this
real.
pressure on the 24 hours of your birthday to like maximize every minute. So what I anticipate I'm going to do is run around and try to like make sure that every second of the day is accounted for.
Oh, girl, no. Who says that we have to do that? Granted, everybody, I do get what you're saying because it's your birthday and
My
you want to
birthday is
celebrate.
special. Yeah.
But if you just want it to be a day of rest and relaxation and mindfulness, like and create a mindfulness space, bitch, do that. Go to a spa or get your nails done, get pampered.
Now you might be onto something right there. Somebody can sponsor a good old pedicure and a manicure for a bitch like
Right.
me, and a massage. My body needs to be touched on, but in a really like purposeful way, not like just trying to get up inside of me.
Because you celibate. Remember, you are celibate.
Yes.
Yes. I'm good. I'm doing my annual dentist trip, my trips to the dentist. Today I actually started the procedure for my root canal. So they did the first phase, which the woman was like so
Awesome.
nervous. She was so like, "Are you good? Is this good?" I'm like, "Girl, I've done this before."
Why would
Unfortunately,
she be nervous? Now
not
wait a minute.
nervous. No, 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 no. Not nervous, but she was really worried about me. She kept like
Oh,
walking me step through step and wanting to show me what my teeth look like. I'm like, I'm one of those girls. Just get me out the chair. I have my music playing. I'm just like, I don't need you to show me what you're doing. We also had like an assistant in there today, and he was kind of nervous. And I was like, girl, just hand her the right things and just calm down. It was his first day, like not his first day. It was his first like week of training,
mm-mm.
and she
That's
was really
okay.
sweet. Yeah, I was like, girl, I hate this. I hate when I get the lab rats.
Yeah, don't give me nobody new. I ain't the one for you to try that shit on. You need to try that with
Too
somebody
much.
else who don't give a fuck about what's going on.
I got too much anxiety, but that part went well. And then I've been working out every day this week. I mean, these past 2 weeks.
That's great.
Definitely been trying to stay healthy every day around like 6 or 7. I try to work out for at least 30 minutes to an hour. I do like insanity. I do some shit on YouTube or I like go to my gym. I have a gym partner too. So I'm trying to do that because I definitely am in a space of like bleh. And I have to figure my therapist. I just don't, their schedule is so booked. So I'm like, I feel like I have to email him to be like, hey, sis, can I get on the
You don't
schedule?
schedule
But
your appointments the day of your last appointment?
we do. However, we didn't do that last time because I think he got up and he realized. So I was going every week at one time. And then I gradually went to every other week. And then there was a phase where like I couldn't meet with him. So the last time we met, he was like, all right, talk to you later. So I think he was like, Dever's going to just schedule when he wants to schedule. And then I looked online and there's no
Booked up.
availability.
It's the holiday time, so people really need counseling. So shout
Yeah,
out to the therapist because I know they getting paid.
they getting their moolah, but I'm gonna get back into it most likely in the new year, just because like I am, of course, everybody knows I travel during this time, so things of that nature. But we're gonna jump into our Black Boy Joy spotlight of the week, and this week's Black Boy Joy is a man by the young name. Um, a man by the name of Donnie Hugh. He is an LA-based actor and also creator of Cafe de la Hue. He also recently starred in, not recently starred, he starred in the film Party and Play that also features one of our past guests, Samson McCormick, in it. He also has been in Surviving Hope and Landing. So the cool thing about him is he recently created a brand about empowerment, and the products are essentially he focuses on skincare, and then also he has merch. So the cool thing about his skincare, it's all about like making people feel delicious and things of that nature. So he has hydrators, moisturizers, cleansers, and things of that nature. But also he also names them really cool names. So like brownie, but like it's spelled like BRWNIE, like coffee, CFFEE, and like
I
syrup
love
and
that.
such like that. And it's really nice to see a Black man basically teaching us about what is important about keeping our skin clear and all that. He also he also informed me like, make sure you exfoliate your genitalia area.
Yeah.
Make sure you're getting the scrubbing up in there and getting all the crevices and things of that nature. And I think that's really important because, to be honest, like I don't think a lot of men know that it is very important to like exfoliate down there because of like dead skin and things like that. So I appreciate that he has a skincare line that also focuses on that as well. So shout out to Donnie Hugh being an actor and also his line of Cafe de la Hue. If you all would love to check him out on social media, his name is Donnie Hugh, and then also look up his skincare line called Cafe de la Hue. And please keep serving
So
that Black
clever.
boy joy.
Yeah.
I know.
Shout
I
out to
was
you,
like,
Donnie.
come on.
It's really
Also,
clever.
it is. And then also shout out to him with Samson, because I
Yeah,
found out about him
absolutely.
through Samson, Party and Play, the film, which was amazing. So I see
I
him in
loved
there.
it.
His body's amazing, y'all, as well. Like watching it, I was like, ooh,
Yep.
come on, body, yada, yada, yada. So shout out to him for that. But girls, let's get into our hot topics of the week. And we love our girls over at Potomac in Atlanta. So let's jump right into our hot topics with Potomac Girl, the reunion. Part one.
You bring a new guy to every damn reunion. I hope he's sitting behind you this time. I
Is
said,
he coming to the? Is Jamal coming to the reunion?
no, of
I
course
thought
not.
so. Of course not.
It was the fact that Monique sat there for like a minute and a half to 2 minutes, like just reading Giselle, and Giselle truly didn't have a comeback. Like she couldn't say anything because obviously the receipts were real. And watching Candace get as upset as she was about it as if she were getting hit, I think it was because she was anticipating that she was coming for her ass next.
Yeah.
And then Robin was like, "What's your motive behind this?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
obviously to get y'all back for the shit you did."
She has so much tunnel vision, which I was here for. She didn't pay Robin no mind. She didn't pay Candace no mind. Her fucking focus point was Giselle.
Giselle.
And these bitches was not about to do what they typically do and deflect, which I loved. I love that she went for the jugular because she knew these girls had receipts too on some quote unquote shit, which we're going to hear about in this next reunion, this next episode. So she had to come with her receipts. People are like, she took too much time to make a binder. First of all, it's her job to have her receipts. So you girls need to calm down. And second of all,
She's bindering.
yes, and I'm like, second of all, these girls are already ready to come for her. These girls, first of all, I am glad that she is using her voice on this platform right now, the reunion, because she's not been able to talk around these girls because it's been Candace's story. Which I'm like, girl, give her the platform. This is the best place to talk. This is the best place to drag you hoes because you hoes refuse to do scenes with her. So I definitely am
Right.
like,
So that was my point, because when Robin was like, what's your motive? And I'm like, obviously to do to y'all what you did to her. Like y'all spent the entire season trying to get this lady fired, so of course she's gonna air your shit out. Now don't get me wrong, when I was watching, I was like, this is a little dark sided. Like something about it made me a little uncomfortable because I was like, I don't think I like this level of viciousness. On the other hand, I do think that like if she was going to ensure her spot for next season and then also get the women back for the things that they did, it was probably necessary for her to do
Yeah,
to get that binder.
yeah. But it was interesting because I'm hearing through like people on Twitter and then also people that are close to the show that like she's anticipating Candace and Giselle to bring some rumors or receipts to her about the child, her most recent child being not being Chris's. So that's the reason why she did all this bindering, because she wanted these bitches to not even think that they can come for her with this shenanigans. So I'm excited. I'm interested in this whole thing. I'm just, I just am thinking also with Candace. I'm just like, girl, stop talking. Like, quit. She just keeps having her little jabs, and nobody's paying her any mind. And I'm just like, stop throwing the jabs. Just like, you already did y'all. The case has been dropped. We know that y'all don't like each other. Can't you
She's
just
obsessed.
Monique is clearly not even giving you any energy, and you're just looking like that person that's poking the bear. So
Yeah, it's just really
definitely,
hard to really get under Monique's skin. Like I don't even really understand the like I still don't understand the core of this beef. Like it doesn't make any sense. It's not
yeah,
the thing about the dragon last year, not that big of a fucking deal.
yeah,
Showing the text messages that Candace was clearly coming for Ashley, not that big of a fucking deal. So the fact that they don't like each other so much that it's carried on into this is ridiculous. Now
yeah.
Karen and Giselle, on the other hand, I stand by my words. I've said it 10 times and I'll say it 10 more. That is a feud I will never get tired of because it's like they clearly know each other. They clearly have known each other for a very long time.
Yeah,
So much like the beef between Sheree and Nene, it's so interesting to me and it never really gets old because it's not like they're just not gonna fuck with each other after that. It's not like they're never
yeah.
gonna talk to each other again. More than likely they'll be mad at each other for a couple months and then they'll get over it because
Look, Giselle knows she can't dress. Giselle knows she can't dress, and it's
even
amusing.
Robin knows. Robin said it
Right.
herself.
It's very therapeutic.
I was looking at the trailer for next episode and Giselle was like, Karen's full of shit. And she said, thank you. You've trained me well.
I was like, yes, come on. So I'm excited for
Karen
this
is
one.
showing up, honey.
She
She's the
looks,
grand dame.
she looks good. Let's get into that. She looks good sitting over there. I don't know what she's done. Well, I do know what she's done.
Everything.
She
She's gotten
looks,
everything done.
she looks good.
Do it again. Do it again. I can't
So
believe you're gonna spill it.
that's what happened the last episode. I had to clean up. So for y'all don't know, I had to clean up before the episode came because I completely threw a whole red drink on me before we shot. So that's so funny. But I'm trying my best. But let's go to the Housewives of Atlanta.
Must we?
So it's very hard to get through right now.
It's lackluster.
It's very boring. The girls have not been together yet, and I think because it's COVID and they're trying this is by far one of the like last episodes to me was very all over the place. When they introduced Drew, all over the place. When they introduced LaToya, it was really random, and like they said the day before that LaToya was hanging out, and now it just was like, girl, y'all don't even know these people.
She just popped up out of nowhere. And honestly, it's not like she's I mean, I don't know. I guess I can't say she's got star power or doesn't because of whatever she was doing on YouTube, which is completely out of my realm of giving a fuck. However, like seeing her on the TV isn't doing anything for me. And it seems like her relationship with Kenya is really out of nowhere. Like it doesn't look
Forced.
yeah, it doesn't even seem reasonable. It's just everything feels off. I'm watching it. Drew is I
Yeah.
like Drew Sidora, but she's not giving anything as of
I
right
think
now.
it's the timing. I think
It
it's
is the
definitely the
timing.
timing of it. Like they can't shoot all together right now, and I think that's so weird. We're seeing them separately, and I'm like, we appreciate seeing their daily lives, of course. However, like we enjoy seeing the wives together because that's when the meat and potatoes comes about. So when we don't see them together, it's just like, okay, Cynthia's trying to figure out what her husband and her soon-to-be husband is doing. Okay, Candy is trying to figure out what her child is. I forgot her name that fast. Like all of that is just like
Was Riley in the
Riley.
last episode?
The
In the second
graduation.
one?
Yeah, it was because of the graduation.
I don't remember that.
Her
Did I watch the whole
graduation.
thing? I'm so unimpressed. I'm just like I know I did not watch the first episode. I just didn't. So the one that came on Sunday, I was like, oh, let me go ahead and look at it. And I was just staring. Like I was like, well, something interesting is going on in Drew's household because her husband is out of his monkey ass mind.
I just was
He's
like,
not well. Like he's unwell.
it just was so weird to me. I got to touch my sideburns. Like, girl, like you'd leaving the house for 3 days and not telling your partner where you're going.
And then was like, what? Why does it help you? What,
I'm like,
if I tell you where I was, what is it going to do for you?
'cause
And it's like,
nigga.
well, what is it going to do for you not to tell her? Like, sure, like vaguely telling her you were in Tampa is like useless information if you're not going to say what you were doing. But I
Yeah,
mean, it wasn't like completely absurd for her to ask where the fuck you were, because if she had done that, if she had gone somewhere for 3 days and not told him, as a straight man, I am so certain he would have had an issue with that, because that's how they get.
yeah.
That's how they are. Women
And it,
can't do to
yeah,
them what they do to women.
no. And it's so interesting. Their relationship is very hot and cold, like very hot and cold. Like 1 minute they're like a really cute couple, and the next minute just like, girl, God, what the fuck is happening? Like it's just very a switch, and it's really weird for me to see them like go from that. Too much for me. Like it's too much sensory overload.
It
Like
sounds
I
unhealthy.
can't. So I'm gonna try to watch this season. I'm gonna try to bear through it, but I need something to happen. I just need some. I like Marlo. Marlo's been doing something. It's cute, but
I like
yeah,
Marlo too. Her joking on Kenya was funny to me. Kenya
yeah,
couldn't keep a man if Jesus paid her to. I thought that was hilarious.
yeah,
Shout out to Marlo for always saying what the fuck she has to say. It's very
yeah.
helpful. That is,
She's
I laughed. It was funny.
yeah.
Yeah.
She's like the only advice I would ask for Kenya is how to spell something. Like she was like, don't trust her. She said the only advice I would ask her how to spell something. But other than that, don't.
It is what it is, honestly.
But girl, how have you been with this Clubhouse app? The girls
Oh
have
my
been
God.
talking.
I love Clubhouse. The very first experience I had on Clubhouse was it was a room saying that Gabriella oh my God, I forgot what her last name. Gabriella Garibaldi carried this Cheetah Girls on her back. So we were talking for like an hour and a half about this, and it was so funny. Like I really kikied. And I was in this one group. We were talking about Wiz Khalifa and Sebastian showing affection with a 1 second kiss that somebody took
Mm,
a screenshot of. And then I was in one yesterday morning, and it was called Dragon Slayers. And we were just talking
yeah.
about like, it was like what dragons have you overcome? So David Johns was in it, which is why I
Yeah.
went to listen to it. It was so good. I even signed up for a session with one of the ladies who was speaking. She's doing like these free consultations. And so I signed up to do one on Monday. So I'm really busy for this little vacation I've gotten. But Clubhouse, to get back on track, Clubhouse is a really great app. The people who I've seen who don't like it, I don't think that they're using the app for the right reason. Like I've seen people say something about like a clout chase, and I was like, if you go to the right ones, you'll either talk about things you have a common interest in, or
Yeah.
people will give you information that you didn't have beforehand. So I think you just have
Yeah.
to use the app correctly.
Yeah, I think of it immediately as like when you go to college and there's just so many groups on
Yeah.
campus and
Yeah.
you just join in and listen to what they're talking about, and just like how easy it is for them to create groups to just converse and network and things like that. Um, it definitely is overwhelming to me when I'm in
Really?
spaces, when I'm in conversations when there's like a very sensitive subject. So I was in a conversation the other day about toxic masculinity with like over 100 people, and I'm like, I'm not sure how you can moderate this at its capacity, because people can pop in, people can have their sense about it. People can bring up triggering things. So I
They only
definitely
let certain people speak though, because you got to raise your hand if you're the
yeah,
big one.
but it depends on who the moderator is, because
True.
if the moderator is just allowing people to come in, and just speak about things. It's just very like all over the place. And like somebody like definitely came into one of the spaces, just came in like really late in the game, jumped into like speak and then started like using trigger words and like people like was very uncomfortable and it
What
was
was
like
being said? I'm curious.
just about like sexual assault and then
Oh.
like things like that like well they brought up an episode of Grand Army and there was like a sexual assault episode some moment in it. They brought that up and I'm like that's triggering because you don't know about people's relationships with that, so it definitely was interesting. So I definitely try to like see how it is, but there is sometimes I'm like everybody can't have the moderator, like it's definitely not for everybody.
Yeah, not
But
everybody needs to be running a damn room. I don't know that I would have gone into a room where people are talking about toxic masculinity because I would have assumed that the conversation would get toxic in itself. So that I commend you
yeah,
for being able to do that.
because it just popped up on my because it told me that one of my like you get notifications when your friends pop up in rooms.
Yeah, I'm gonna check to see
one
what
of
they
my friends one of my friends was in it and I was like, oh, okay, like
was
I
it
didn't
Arthur.
know. He was actually the moderator.
He was,
Yes,
and it was a
one
lot of
of
people in
them.
there. Damn,
Yeah.
Arthur already popping
The
up on
girl
that.
she's been doing it all like for the past 2 days. I was in a
Yes.
group with her last night, just casually kikiing, but I do like the app. I think it's fun. I think it's definitely something that is needed right now during this time, and I think it's definitely great for networking. So if you have not been invited to Clubhouse, please get invited. Find a friend who is not, since somebody's very like it's like a club. It's like you can't get in if you don't have an
It's
invite.
exclusive.
It's exclusive,
Yes,
but
ma'am. Who let you
you got
in?
Charles.
Okay, you don't have
Charles
to let
did.
Charles in.
You did.
I did.
I know. I like how you can see who let people in. I was
I
like,
do too, like the chain of command here. Like, yes,
look
I
this.
brought the girls into the pyramid.
No. Oh God, the pyramid scheme.
They're my grandchild. Okay, okay, no, I'm so sorry. Lord forgive me. Cause that's not how.
Speaking of grandparents, did you hear that Dionne Warwick wants Tiana Taylor to play her?
Sorry, Dion. I did. First of all, I was really upset with Dionne Warwick for a couple years because of how she played Marley, the woman who is deaf, and they were writing a children's book, and one of the characters was supposed to be deaf, and Dionne was so against it because she was just like, I don't think kids are going to understand this. Like, this is not a conversation they need to have early on.
Really?
I'm like, well, kids are deaf sometimes, so I'm not entirely certain that it would be an inappropriate conversation, but okay. So she was really ableist about that, and it really pissed me off. But watching her on Twitter is such a joy because,
Yeah.
on one hand, I'm sure most of those thoughts are her own, but it's also really interesting because I'm sure that her niece is absolutely assisting her with most of these tweets.
Yeah. It's interesting. I didn't know that was Dionne Warwick's actual account
Yeah.
that was on Twitter.
So she got on that video and was like, "It is me."
I was like, oh, okay, Miss
Yeah.
Dionne, Miss
She's
Warwick.
hilarious.
She is.
And I'm glad she listened to the public about Tiana Taylor.
Yeah, I
That's
think it
good.
was. Yeah, I think it's great for this moment too because I think that this was the when Tiana was saying that she wanted to retire and feel like people didn't appreciate her. Well, hopefully, I think this will give her that boost of the people still love, people listen to support me, and things like that. I know this isn't acting, but she will. If this is something that actually happens, she would have to sing, of course, and I think that'll help people as well. Let's get more support to Tiana. So.
Oh my God, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to do
Okay.
that.
But speaking really quickly, we found
Had to
out that
reschedule.
COVID, Ashanti and Keisha Cole had to reschedule their verses
Let's
to
talk about
January 9th.
why.
Ashanti had COVID. And so I was really bothered by people being so upset that she
About
had
her
COVID.
getting COVID?
About her getting COVID. They was like, girl,
Why?
you need to still sing. Because people was like, I think people were not wanting her to rest, right? They were just like, girl, you lying, you didn't get COVID, you just was afraid of Keisha. And I was like, girl,
Nah, she got that motherfucking COVID.
she got that COVID.
Traveling up and down the
I
world.
heard it,
Oh, she
but
was cute.
people, yeah, people, Somebody said she was at her in her bathing suits all up and down with no face mask on.
No face mask. I'm sure she was touching her face and everything. I'm sure she wasn't
Yeah,
using hand sanitizer.
she said she got it
And
from a
I thought
family
they were
member.
above it. On the trip.
I don't know. She said
And
she
did
got
you
it
have it
from.
before? Because she had been wherever she was 2 days before that. So did you get it in Kenya, or did you take it to Kenya and come the fuck back? Is that where she was?
I don't know, girl, but you
Make that up,
just.
did I?
I don't know if you did, but it was just funny. Did she bring it to Kenya or did
I mean,
she?
seriously, like, what is the truth here? Because now I'm mad because I kind of don't think that. I really don't think she got that shit when she got back. Like, I believe that she either got it there or she took it there, and that's an
Yeah,
issue. That's an issue for me. Shanti,
yeah.
don't. Why are you being so reckless? Like, that was a reckless thing to do. I'm sure you have all the resources you need to stay your ass home and have a good time. Why was it
Hmm.
important for you to go to Kenya right now, or whatever country she was in? Why was
Yeah,
it
what
so
was
important?
she? Yeah, what was she doing in Kenya?
Taking pictures.
I was like, she wasn't on no press tour. She wasn't doing anything of her
Ain't
music
doing nothing to promote other than this damn verses, and you could do that up on the
of it
album.
online. You could do that. You could do that on the iPod. But yeah, it was interesting because when she got on live with Keisha, Keisha was ready, girl. Keisha was dolled up.
I
Okay.
didn't like her look, but I was excited that she
She
was.
was giving me very much Cruella de Vil.
Yeah,
And I
that's
was
exactly what I
absolutely
got
here
from
for it.
that.
The
That
chorus.
is
So were they
exactly.
doing this? Were they doing this over the live, or is they
No,
doing
they
this
were
in
supposed to go. That's why they had to cancel it. If they were going to do it via live, it would have been fine. But where they do that shit at the little stage now, and she could not be in a
Yeah.
space with all those people because it's got to be a crew. Somebody's got to run the cameras, the
Yep.
sound, everything. So yeah, she had to fucking forfeit, or
Yeah.
at
I
least
was.
reschedule.
Yeah. So I was. I'm
Fucking
interested in this.
stupid.
I'm going to an. My friend is hosting like a vision board party during that time, so hopefully she's
Nuh-uh.
able to make it. Yeah.
Yes.
Huh?
I was looking to see what rooms they. I'm so obsessed with this app, girl. Oh my god.
Clubhouse?
Yes.
Oh my god. It's a wave.
It's good for me.
No. Really quickly, do you feel like the COVID vaccine was developed too fast, or it's being like rushed out too fast right now?
Sure. I think they said before they even got to a point where they were comfortable with using one that anything that they were going to put out was going to be rushed and uncertain. So I don't know that it's a matter of opinion. It's a fact that it was absolutely released too soon, but they needed a quick answer, and this is what they had.
Girl, so this whole time I thought December 21st was when we would be getting the vaccine.
No, that's when we're supposed to
Di-
get our magical powers
right. So I was thinking that we was getting these magical powers from this damn
from the vaccine.
vaccine, but we're supposed to be getting it
Good.
from
It's
some
some
shit.
astrological thing.
The sun and the moon is coming together, and we start to turn into X-Men. This is so funny to me that people are really going off with like running with it, and I'm here for it too. So I'm adding my little two
It's funny.
cents
We
to it.
need jokes. Every time something happens catastrophic or just like significant, it becomes this huge joke on Black Twitter, and I love that. We need that.
Yes, I'm like, bitch. I can't wait to get my mutant powers. I'm trying to figure out what would my mutant powers be. Like, I swear, I think I want to get like telepathy. Period.
Really. Girl, I don't know because the way that the real hardcore shows like show that it's always invasive. Like you're just
Jean
swarmed by
Grey.
everyone's thoughts, and I just don't know
Yeah.
that I can deal with that. I'm already too good at reading people's body language in a way that shows me what they're thinking, so I really don't need to know exactly what anybody is thinking because that
You
shit
know,
would have me in the fetal position in this room forever.
that is a good thing. That's a good point because I keep thinking about Jean Grey ass every time the bitch break down. Like every fucking time this bitch break down. I'm like, girl, she is the most unuseful superhero in the books. Bitch can't control her powers. So I would want Dr. X to work with me, girl. I want him
Yeah.
to put me in a box and make my bitch ass train to the gods. So I can be the
Damn.
baddest telepathist out here.
Ambulances are out today, girl.
Girl, it's chaos.
It was me just like 15 minutes ago. Like, can y'all calm down? Why are y'all dying? Oh my
It's
god,
a
I'm doing that.
pandemic. If it
Oops.
lasts,
I
last but
forgot.
not least, which is a really good conversation I
It is.
saw on social media. On Taraji P. Henson's Facebook Watch show, Peace of Mind, Gabrielle Union was talking about Zaya felt outed when photos were dissected online before coming out as trans. And really enjoyed the conversation that Gabrielle and Taraji was having on there, because I've not seen a conversation like that with celebrities before. And I do appreciate like Gabrielle really putting trans visibility to the forefront, and the importance of it, specifically having a daughter that is trans, and like that whole like people like really like going into this child's personal life when it's not nobody's business, and like really like making them feel like they have to come out and things like that. So I really appreciated that conversation.
So I certainly get Zaya feeling that way. Unfortunately, I imagine that it's hard to come to terms with your identity when it is something that is not normative. Excuse me, not heteronormative.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably definitely hard to do that in a fishbowl, but I think that outing isn't specific to her identity. I think it's specific to her position in society. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, because if it were my child, there wouldn't be any pictures. Like, if it were my niece, there would be no pictures to dissect. But
Yeah.
because this is a famous person's child, unfortunately, Zaya was put in a position where her privacy wasn't respected, and it just never really was going to be unless she stayed in the house for the rest of her life, or at
Yeah.
least for the time being.
Yeah, because we didn't hear that much about her growing up. We never saw that much about her. So it's very interesting. Once we did start to see some pictures of her, people were quick to be like, why is she posing like that? Why is she this way? Why is she that way? And I'm like, let her live. Like, it's not. And then she also told Gabrielle and Dwayne Wade that she's demi. So demisexual as well. So they were also talking about that conversation about like identity and sexuality as like two different, like,
How old is Zaya?
don't quote me, girl. I thought like 12 or 13.
Let me look this up, because now we getting to a point where I'm like, are you
Yeah.
actually active? Like, is this?
But that goes into this conversation about what our children are.
We're gonna keep that one. I'm gonna challenge that
Okay.
because of my perception of demisexuality anyway. Which, even though I'm not a demisexual individual, so you guys can, if you know something more than I do, please educate me. I certainly
Yes.
don't mind being told. But I've always seen demisexuality as a measure of sexuality, as opposed to an actual sexuality, because it's about like your ability to be attracted to people based on your feelings for them.
Hmm.
Like I can't be attracted to just anybody. Like, it has to be somebody I develop romantic feelings for.
Right.
And if Zaya is not sexually active, does that really matter?
I don't think one has to be sexually active to know what they are
Are
attracted
attracted
to.
to?
I know for me, I hadn't had sex with men before, and I know I was attracted to men.
Right.
And I think with
So
Zaya,
then my question would be, because I agree with you, because I was 6 when I knew that I liked boys. So then my question would be, I would want to ask Zaya this.
yes,
How did you find that out? So what was the experience like? Like, was it that you weren't attracted to anybody, and then finally you had a friend or somebody you had met, and it was like, I love this relationship, I'm now attracted to you? Because that would be different than what I assume it to be. Because if yeah, that is such a particular sexuality.
yes,
Like, if there's something
yes,
really specific about it. So I'm
yes,
like, how do you know that? How
yeah,
do you know that? And I would be very curious to hear from anybody who's demisexual and who has known since they were young. I would love to know what that experience was like for them. Because I
yeah.
feel
No,
like
I
you're older, it
agree.
seems trial and error, right? Like,
Yeah,
oh, this didn't work for me.
I definitely agree with what you're saying, because when I heard it, I was like, she's dropping like some real like descriptors about her identity and her sexuality, and I was like, how does one know those things as well at a young age as she does? Not saying that she could not know those things, but where did you get the resources or the information to thus have you um, clarify or know that that's what your identity is and that's what your sexuality is? I definitely am curious, because I'm like, at 12. I was like, girl,
That's what I'm. Well, so I'm not surprised about the
yeah,
resources. The internet exists. Like the fact that demisexual, like that she knows what demisexual is, does not surprise me.
yeah.
Like the children have an abundance of knowledge. I'm very proud
Now,
of the
yeah,
steps that they are, like the way that they're able to see transness, the way that they're able to see queerness. Like they seem to be getting it a lot quicker than their predecessors, us and our parents.
yeah,
So I I'm not surprised that she knows about what it is. I am just so curious to know what that experience is. That's why I want to challenge it, because it's
yeah.
so foreign to me. It's so foreign to me to have a child express themselves as anything other than um, bisexual, gay, or straight.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Girl, we should do a clubhouse for the podcast.
oh yeah. Why? We can talk about that offline. Because I had the thought a couple times this week, but I was just like, well, what do we want to do? What are we going to talk about?
We
So I
we
guess
could
we can
talk
talk
about
about this.
offline. We
Because
could talk
I'm
about
so curious. I don't want y'all to drag me, because I wasn't trying to invalidate
yeah,
Zaya's experiences. I
yeah,
think I don't understand it because of this particular sexuality. So I'm so interested in hearing about what that experience is for someone who's young. I know what it's like
yeah,
to be a young gay boy. Can pretty much tell what it would have been like to be bisexual. I obviously have seen straight kids all the time. So I'm so interested to see what that looks like in children, what demisexuality looks like in children. Um,
yeah.
and
No,
and pansexuality, right? Because
yeah,
pansexuality, it accounts for trans people. But I guess the more kids who are trans, the more that makes sense for them as well.
yeah. I definitely am interested in that conversation too. Like, let us know, y'all, what y'all thoughts are and like things of that nature. Educate us, because I definitely am like, let me know. I'm
That's a
not.
blind spot for me.
Yeah,
That
I
is
can't see.
absolutely.
Yeah,
I
and I
don't know
need to be
what the hell going
educated.
on there.
Yeah, I want to know. Let us know.
I'm gonna watch
But
that episode too. And
yeah,
shout out to
it's
Taraji.
her. It's really dope. I'm watching it, and I'm really liking the content specifically. But I haven't watched the Red Table Talk in a while. Even when they had the girl on, the white girl that came on, which I was here for Gammy.
Me
I was
too.
here for Gammy. Like, why the hell is she on
Why is
here?
she here?
And you know,
I was like, yes,
excuse me.
scam.
I appreciate Jada trying to give everybody a platform,
I
but
don't.
everybody doesn't need a platform.
Nah, I think Jada, that was a strategic move for Jada, which is fine, but I didn't appreciate her argument that she didn't want to do to white people what white people have done to us. I think we're beyond that argument. I think that we don't have any moral obligation to um pander to or create safe spaces for white people. I don't think we have to go out of our way to be evil to them, but I don't think that not letting this woman on her platform would have been evil. I think it would have spared her audience and spared Gam.
Hmm.
Like I don't care what that girl has
Yeah.
to say about anything.
Okay, so this is going to close out our hot topics, y'all. We are going to go right into our meat and potatoes and our conversation of today, which is just a candid conversation with me and Derwin. But I wanted to know, why do you think that people, when they have these platforms, that they have to be very selective with who they have on their platform, or
They
do
should
they
be.
have to have a rule book on who they want? Because I'm thinking
Not a
about,
rule book.
yes, a qualifier, right? What does that qualifier entail with a platform? Like, for example, with our platform, what would a qualifier, besides being a Black boy who spreads joy or someone that loves Black boys,
Right, because we've had
do we
plenty.
allow, right? Who do we allow on the platform, and what are the criteria? Like, it's like that. Even with Red Table Talk, I'm always curious, like, why? Like, not why, but what was her reasoning behind it? But she told us what it was to give him a platform.
So that's my thing though. Like my overall my rule of thumb is I'm not about to invite anyone on my platform who will alienate my audience.
Mhm.
Shake them up is one thing, right? Like, bring someone who's a little controversial, that's fine, but I don't think it fed any of us to see that girl's story. Like, I don't think
Oh,
anyone was going to
yes.
get anything from it, right? Like, I don't think that anyone watched that and walked away like, wow, I feel
I
healed from
too.
that.
Right.
So I don't think that there was a purpose, and I'm tired of already of the Red Table Talk being a place for people to seek redemption versus a place for people to come on and talk about their healing, to come on and show like people, hey, you know, there's so much growth in the
Yeah.
experiences that you have, but there's no perspective if I'm coming on to have this conversation with you, 5 days after the shit I did. Like, this is not a
Yeah.
fucking sorry fucking pedestal. Like, you're not about to fucking stand here on a fucking podium and issue your apologies on this platform. That's not what it should have been. To my understanding, that wasn't the original purpose of it, because when
Right.
she brought Gabrielle Union on there, when she brought Cherie on there, when she had that first conversation with her mother, when she had Wale on there, when she had
Yeah.
fucking August Alsina, they were all having conversations about their journeys.
Yes.
It
So
was an
what?
overall sorry, go ahead.
No, no, no. I want you to finish.
It
I
was an
wanted you to.
overall conversation about their growth over a period of time.
Okay. So what did you think about having Snoop on there and then also T.I.?
And Jordan Woods.
And Jordan Woods. Do you think that those three people were in the same category as Lori, the white girl?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
They should not have been given the opportunity to apologize on that platform, because that was the minute that the purpose of that platform transformed. This is now a place where people can come and get the pity or sympathy or forgiveness of people, when you need to earn that. You need to
Yeah.
take some time, and you do that on your own, but don't
Yeah.
throw these people in my face for entertainment and have them say sorry to me, and I'm supposed to just be like, oh, I love this show.
Right.
Like, no, it no longer feeds me. It no longer serves
Right.
me.
I think so. I think specifically Jordan's is a different case as
Sure.
well.
I agree.
A
A little bit. A little bit.
I think because she was attacked by a family's
Right.
tribe,
Right.
and we did not know the story, which she did admit to. There was like some indicators that could have potentially made it seem like she was messing with Tristan.
She withheld the truth.
She was.
She did. It was
Yes,
clear to me.
yes, it was. However, I definitely was like, I wanted her to at least tell her side of the story, because we were never going to get her side based on the Kardashians and the Jenners.
I
Like,
feel like she could have gone on live and done that. Like, I'm not certain that she needed the red table talk. Like, it's not like she wouldn't have had an audience. I mean,
Yeah.
you get what I'm getting at? Like, what do you need to use this platform to do that for? It's not changing anything.
Yeah, I definitely get what you were saying. I think that the Red Table Talk has its highs and lows, its hit or misses with the conversations. Like, I think it really had a great momentum start. But then I
Yes.
think when we started to see these people coming on apology tours to this platform,
It's
because when I
sullied.
when T.I. came on, I didn't get anything from it. I was like, you didn't apologize. You were being a misogynistic ass man, per
As
usual.
usual.
Snoop Dogg, it was cute to see you with a suit and a turtleneck on, but like really wasn't giving me like he owned up for his shit that he was saying. I even forgot what he was talking about, honestly.
He
Like,
called Gail like a dog or some shit. I think he called her a bitch, and then
yeah,
like sicked the people on her. So it was just like, and then he
yeah,
was on there like a week later. So,
yeah. So it's just interesting with
uh,
seeing those people. I do want, and like I said, I haven't watched the most recent episodes of Red Table Talk, but I want to get back to these conversations. Or let me not speak on it because I have not watched it, and I've been seeing it here or there. But yes, Taraji Peace of Mind seems like something I want to check into as well, specifically after the conversation with Gabrielle. Wanted to go back into some kind of things. How do you feel this year has been for you? Like, wrapping up, how has it been? Since we are closing out the new year, how do you feel like it's been?
It's a good question that I was actually asking myself earlier today. I was just reflecting, just because I was thinking of all the things I have to do, and I was like, you need to be grateful that there's opportunities to tire you out.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Now that I think about it, this year has been really good to me. And it really was because I had thought about what 2018 and 19 were like for me, and they were just really dark times. Like, they were just not positive times for me.
Yeah.
And so in comparison, it means that 2020 has been a very fruitful year for me, that this has been a year of positive growth and not growth that's forced out of negative experiences. And this has been a year of a little bit of financial growth as well. Not the growth that I would like to see, but I'm definitely in a different position than I was the year before.
Yeah.
So I was like, I feel blessed this year. And then I was like, I know that people say if you can say that for 2020, then you're privileged. But I was like, let's be clear on one thing. Like, yeah, I'm so grateful that I'm not homeless today. Like, I'm so grateful that I do have food in my pantry. But there was a time when I didn't. And I am allowed to acknowledge my own experiences and admit that this year has not been as bad to me, and for me
Yeah.
as the other years have been.
Yeah.
So
I think that's right. I think that it's okay to talk about how it's been good to you and not silence others. I think that's not what you've done. And I think people also misinterpret that as well in certain spaces. Like when you say something that's been good for you, I think it depends on when you say it, right? So if I say it's been trash for me, right, and then you like, well, for me, it wasn't. I think that it's the choice of like where you put that, like,
sure.
that privilege, not privilege, but that connotation of it wasn't for me. But I, like you said, it was for you. So I think that's perfectly fine. Um, the year for me has definitely been a trying thing in the beginning, and my emotions were like severely all over the place.
Yeah, they were.
Um, and
No, the pandemic was stressing you out at the beginning. Like you were.
oh, it was one of the like lowest points I could like vividly remember in my life because I did not know what trajectory my life was going on. Like I am a homebody. Everybody knows that. However, being forced into it and not really like having the autonomy or option to go out really hit me hard. And then just like too many things was coming at me. Basically also being in a space I did not want to be in. Like I was stuck in a space that I did not want to be in was like the scariest thing. But I think overall, I definitely learned about perseverance and definitely about like if I like, definitely put my mind to something and definitely want to get out the trenches or get into a space of happiness, I can do that on my own and not
Yes.
seek that from others. And I think that was something I would always do before. I would always use distractors or blinders or things that were like, okay, let me go hang out with Devin, but I haven't dealt with my emotional stability. Let me go hang out with Charles. Let me go hang out with all these people, but I haven't really like when I be by myself, I'll play video games, I'll watch TV, I'll call y'all, but I really wasn't with who I was. And I think that was something I had to like deal with. And I got into therapy too this year. So that was like a thing too. And I was like, oh girl, you're this is scary. But I think it was overall the year that I needed to like, okay, girl, let's really heal. Let's not try to feel like we can't heal. Let's not feel like we have to be this strong person for everybody else. Let's heal so that you can be emotionally there for others like you want to be, like you say you are. Because realistically, I'll be like, I'm here for y'all, but bitch, my tank will be low.
I can feel that. I definitely
Yeah,
understand that. A note about your own journey, and I'm not going to try to put too much of my own perspective
yeah,
on it, but I feel like you asked yourself a lot of questions this year that you had never asked yourself before,
mm,
and on top of that, I saw you listening to how other people describe their experiences or things that they've thought about in relationship to themselves, and say, "Oh, I should answer that question for myself too. Like, what do I think about that as it relates to me?" And
mhm,
I think that that's a super vital part about us the moving along on our healing journey, right? Like on our getting to know the self journey. I was just talking to my roommate about this either yesterday or the day before, because I remember, and I think I said something about it on here, that I had asked my partner, what relationship to anger. So I explained to him that the reason I asked a question like that is because I want people to think about things that they haven't thought about before. We all try
mhm.
so hard to not think about the ills, right? Like the darkness,
Yeah,
the shadows in our lives. And because of that, we don't get a sense of who we are. So if you
yeah.
ask yourself these questions, you ask yourself new questions, and then you take some time to think about it, I think you can have experiences like the one you've had this year.
Yeah, I think that's always been a thing for me. I've not fully knew who I was for a while. Even going back to college before I came out, I remember I had a moment where people sat me down and was like, "Who is Devery?" Devery is able to be in all these spaces. He likes this. Devery likes that when people are around. However, when he's by himself, who is he when no one's watching? I think we talked about that before, and I think that was like that's something that I had to like really focus on this year. Like I did not know, I knew the basic levels of who I was, you know, I knew the surface level, but I couldn't really deep down get to the nitty gritty of like, how am I showing up in spaces and how am I doing those things, right? So I think that was something I definitely am like progressing. I think also with the protest too, that was something that made me look at how I show up in spaces because I was terrified, right? I was verbal with that, and I also learned that I reclude in actual when I fear something. You know, I'm always saying like, "Oh, I'm a run up," and all that, but like I'll do that when I know my life is not on the line, but when I know that my life may be somewhere on the line, I reclude in, and my fear keeps me like shrouded in it. So I definitely realized that because I told you I was like, "Girl, I don't know about going out here protesting. I don't know what that was," and I was
Yeah,
afraid. And I think that also
sure.
silenced me as well. Um,
It
it
was a valid fear.
it was, but I think looking as a like with this platform, and then also with like the voice that I can use, I think I was like not doing the justice that I should have been, right?
Mm.
But I was like, but me comfortably, I don't want to come on a platform and speak about something that I'm not the most comfortable with, right? I didn't want to do that. But it definitely at that moment, girl, I was like, what is going on? If I step outside, will this happen? You know, it was a moment.
I think it was uncertain for a lot of us, but I
Yeah.
also think that you do have some control over your experiences at a protest. So you go into it and you realize that there are going to be some things that you don't have control over, and those things are scary because they can result in injury. However, you
Hmm.
also know yourself and know that you're not going to purposely put yourself in a dangerous situation. Like, no, I was not going to stand in the front line of the protest and
Yeah.
antagonize anyone, but I will support. I will absolutely be present. I will absolutely scream. And being on the front line was, it just wasn't my role at the time. And it's not
Hmm.
that I haven't been at the front line of things. I think that if I had done it at that point, it wouldn't have served anything other than my trying to prove that I'm hard. And I was like,
Mm.
no, I just want to be a part of this, and I want to stand in a group of people and be a part of something bigger than me. But this is certainly by far not about me at all.
Hmm. Yeah, I definitely get that. I think a lot of people were doing that as well during that time. I don't want to. I assume I'm not going to say that for real, but I do think some people did that for themselves. They weren't doing it for the protest or the march. I think they were doing it for I am this. I was here. Look at my moment of like of upstander, being an upstander. But to
Yeah.
each his own.
I put a
Um,
video up on Facebook and it made me feel weird. So I put it up there because I wanted people to know I am here. This matters to me. I had been posting on Facebook about it a lot. So I wanted that audience to know that I'm not just sitting online and saying this shit like I give a fuck. But as after I put it up, I was like, I don't need to prove this to
it didn't feel
anybody.
genuine. Yeah, it
Like
didn't
I
feel
don't,
genuine.
and even though I know it was for me, I was like, I don't need to show these people what this experience is like. If they wanted to be here, they should have been here. But this is not a clout chase, and this is not me trying to show these people that I'm here. This is
Yeah,
me really. I'm sick of this shit. Like,
yeah.
if I wasn't sick of it, I would have stayed my ass at home. And I think part of me wanted to just get everyone on Facebook riled up, not riled up, but energized. Energized. I wanted to get them energized. I wanted to say, you this bothers y'all, but you won't say anything because for a lot of you, Facebook is this like professional esque platform,
Yeah,
and you feel like your professionalism limits your ability to speak out about social justice, and that is the issue. I want you to
yeah,
fight that belief.
yeah. I did. I agree with you. I think yeah, I think Facebook is a very like um I don't want to say conformist, but like Facebook people definitely like follow the mode. They like follow the like whatever is trending. That's what people do. If it's not trending, it's like let me go put it like Twitter is the place where you do that thing like I can be my full self. Like ooh,
Whatever they want to
Facebook.
do.
Facebook is like where your family is at, so you have to be. I am not with so it's interesting.
I act like I don't
I
suck
push
dick on
that.
Facebook.
I don't think you should say that on Facebook.
I act like I ain't never had sex before. Sometimes I just don't post these conversations on Facebook because I'm like, look, I don't need my grandmama seeing this clip and just being so disturbed because I'm like,
To be transparent, I don't post as much as I feel like I should on my Facebook about the podcast. My parents listen. My dad listens. I don't know
that
how
still
the
shocks me
most
'cause I
recent.
don't understand
What?
why they sitting up and listening to us talk shit.
Listen, I think like I told y'all before, I think my they're finally getting to know who I am
Yeah.
with this podcast. Because like I said, I go back home and mind my motherfucking business. I sit on the couch, text. I be the most obedient child in the world. But when they listen to
Exactly.
me, they're like, it's another side. Because I tell people when I go back home, I am not fully gay, transparent. Like I'm gonna just say I'm gay, but I'm not like, look at me, I'm a flame. It's
I mean, you're
definitely
not that outside of your home either, so.
I'm not, but like
But
I'm
are you toning it down?
yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. I tone it down. And it's something that it bothers me. And I've talked about it with my therapist and I've been challenging it gradually. But yeah, when my father specifically said he would listen to the podcast, it was like
That shocks me. If Jerome picked up, you know what? I'm talking all of this shit when they used to watch my YouTube videos, and the same
You was
conversation that I have on here, I was absolutely having on YouTube. So
But
my
with a
parents are
mug.
accustomed to me just.
with a beat face though.
Okay, so I take it back.
Yeah.
Hi, Jeffrey's parents. Welcome.
I shot in the house before. I literally shot the podcast in the middle of the house while they were there. They left
what-
like in the end, like because they had to go run some errands, but like I did it in the middle of the house.
Wow.
Interesting. So, have you forgiven people in your life that have wronged you this year or just in general?
I don't appreciate being asked this question.
Okay, we don't have to answer it. I'll go first then.
I'm not gonna. Yeah, you go first, but
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah, I'm selective, right? It depends on the severity of how you've wronged me. I definitely can name people, but I'm not doing that. That I can forgive and not forget, and I can also keep you at arm's distance. I feel like I've
What is that? What's that about?
girl. I have
Uncomfortable truth?
it's uncomfortable truth. I have a tendency to allow certain people still back in my life when they have wronged me, and I'm not comfortable with the transactions that transpire between us. And it's something that I'm really perplexed by with myself.
What's the criteria?
So I give it very surface. Was I physically hurt? Was I emotionally hurt? Or was I mentally hurt? If I was none of those three, then I'm good, right? But when I'm interacting with these people again, I'm still thinking about the interaction that made us fall apart. So it makes me question, why am I still kind of connecting with that person if I don't feel genuine in this space, right?
Yeah.
It's like, why? Okay, you don't have to be friends with them like you used to. You don't have to kiki, you don't have to cackle, but why are you still doing it, right? It's like a weird thing to me. So I definitely forgive. I mean, I've forgave people that have wronged me, but I think I've done it I've never stood 10 toes down. Certain people I have, because I absolutely was like, fuck that shit. But there's definitely people in my life that I'm just like, you didn't hurt me that bad, so I can still be a vessel or an ear, but it still hurts me subconsciously to like, every time I see them, I'm just like, I remember when you thought you had one on me or something, so.
That's interesting. That's a very interesting experience.
I know people can relate to that too, bitch.
I'm
it's
sure.
just
I'm
so
sure.
weird.
Do you find it
And-
happens more in romantic spaces than anything else?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's why I asked you what the criteria is, because I refuse to believe that when you are being hurt romantically, that emotions are not in there. And you told me and the rest of our audience that if it's not one of those three, that it's cool. And I can only imagine that one to two of those are affected by someone that you're interacting with romantically. So
Hmm.
that's why I ask what the criteria is, because I've seen you fall out with someone who, disrespected you and probably just a little bit more than, your romantic partners.
Yeah.
And there's no way
Connection.
of, yeah, there's no way of going back on that. So what is it? What is the criteria that you would allow these romantic partners to come back but not friends?
I think it's the. I think the thing about me allowing my romantic partners back in is I I don't feel like I'll find a partner. Period.
Mm,
After my two last relationships, I don't think I'll find another one that is what I want. So I go back into spaces I used to, working on it still, and I'm going to name that, working on um, loving myself and knowing that I can get the love that I want. But it's hard because I know that these people used to love me at a time or like me
mm,
or wanted to be with me. So I go back into that space of like, oh, I'm going to think about all the good times that happened. Or let me do what I did in that during that time to make everything feel like it was okay. No one, I don't want to be in a relationship by all means with these people, but just like I wanted the moment, right? Specifically during quarantine, I wanted the moment of like intimacy or just like somebody that like body to body or physical, something of that nature. But I think that was what I was in. The difference between my romantic ones and my friendships, I it's hard to believe. I don't think I'll find another partner. But with a
mm.
friendship, I think I can find another friendship that I can trust. So I feel like friendships are more disposable, whew, to me because I feel like I don't have to be as like um, um, as unguarded. If that doesn't make sense, I don't have to be as guarded with that. So
That's
yeah,
very interesting to me because I think
child.
my experience differs from that a little bit. Um, I have been hurt most. Well, first, let me start by saying I'm an emotional learner. I learn best when I'm excited by something, when I am interested in something and it elicits some sort of emotion from me. And then on the downside of that, when something makes me feel sad or bad, you know, I never forget it,
Mm-hmm.
no matter how small it is. I
Mm-hmm.
remember things, very small things that happened, at the beginning of my college experience from friends of mine. Like they said something so small,
Yeah.
and it sticks with me. And I forgive these people, but unfortunately, that still exists in my brain. And so now I know that you are capable of hurting me in this particular way.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, even if I do forgive someone, it really affects my ability to trust.
Yeah.
I've recently, as you know, been violated. Um, that's the word that you know I hesitated to use, but has been used
Yeah.
by therapists and medical health professionals. And so that sort of violation really changes the way that you trust people, especially if it's somebody that you've had an intimate relationship with, right? So I try to forgive, I try to offer people grace, but it really has been historically difficult for me. I am a grudge holder, and even though I know that people will hurt you unintentionally, it's hard for me to let that go, especially
Yeah.
if there's no apology. Now, um, one interesting example of this is Omar and I's friendship. We had a lot of bumps at the
Yeah.
start of it. But I was so adamant about being open and honest with him because he was one of the first intimate relationships I had had with a gay man, a gay black man. So I was really invested in it. And so when he did things that upset me, I confronted him and I gave
Mm-hmm.
him an opportunity to hear my emotions about it or my feelings about it, and then I forgive him for it.
Right.
So he is probably one of the people who's taught me forgiveness in that way, because I don't ever see him like hold grudges at all.
Right.
Like at all.
Yeah. That's good. I mean, that's interesting. I think I've the in male interaction that I think the first male interaction that I had that was intimate with another queer man, it went really left. It wasn't. It was the notion of, I think it became more so I was a threat to them and their relationship, which kind of like I didn't know they were in a relationship with the person, didn't flirt with their partner, just was really good friends with them, conversed and things like that. But that really showed me the cattiness in relationships with other queer men, which I was like, girl, what in the world? So I think from that beginning, it really was hard for me to go into other spaces with queer men. I longed for it and wanted it, but I always went into them not really being authentically me in certain spaces, right? Because I had the first relationship I had with just a platonic relationship. I seen it go like, it was like hot and cold. It was like 1 minute we were friends, 1 minute we weren't, 1 minute they were like blocking me, 1 minute they weren't, 1 minute we were fighting, 1 minute it was like, yes, it was the most weirdest thing in college. And I think it was because I didn't know my identity. I didn't know my boundaries and things like that for friendships. So that was like the start of that. And then when I started to graduate, when I got here, it was a whole nother mindset, because I think I had to put 10 toes down on my relationship. I had to stand grounded and I had to be like, this is not what I'm accepting. I'm too old to be dealing with these unhealthy relationships with people in my life. But it was interesting because I would say I was not here for it, but they would still like be like, hey, can we grab lunch, right? Or hey, can we hang out? And I would be like, sure. Or like, okay, you can come to my party. But it was
see, if you gotta do all that, nah. But it's hard, right?
It's hard. It's hard. And it's so interesting because I say, right, I say what I want. I'll say, right. But I had to realize also, girl, you can't say everything. Right? You cannot say everything you want. It sounds good on paper. You want to be this truth teller. You want to be that girl that says everything. However, you can't just be a hard ass in every space, right? So I couldn't find that balance between being a hard ass and being passive. And it was hard. So I'm working on it. I'm learning it. To this day, still need to work on my hard assness. When I don't think something is right, I need to be able to name it in a healthy way instead of like, I have to do that. So so going back to the question, yeah, I've definitely forgave people that have wronged me, but I have not, it's selective with those people.
It takes me sometimes it takes me years. Like I had a friend who completely abandoned our friendship, and that shit hurt me so much so that I still have dreams about it. It doesn't hurt me in the same way anymore, but like still happens, still comes up in my dreams. So and I think it took me a good 3 to 4 years to actually forgive her. Like 2 to 3. It took me a minute.
Yeah. There's 2 relationships that I have. Those are the two relationships that I stand 10 toes down and that I would never go back to. And it's because I talk about them so much off camera, of course, because they were friendships that I genuinely thought I had built on a strong foundation. So I think that, those are when I built it on a strong foundation, and I know wholeheartedly that I had nothing to do with the us separating. Separation. I have no hard feelings walking away. I have no hard feelings. If I know I've done my part, my due diligence, if I've checked in, if I've reached out, if I've tried to clarify any loose screws, and I can admit, and you can admit, that it was not ill on 2 behalves, I can wash my hands with you and be okay with it. It doesn't have to be a beef. It doesn't have to be a quarrel every time we see each other.
Right.
It can be a simple, we are great in this space. Coexisting, right? I won't disrespect you. You won't disrespect me. It won't be tension. Because I remember I went to a party before and the person was like, I wish we could have the oak. I wish we could have our relationship back. And I said that I appreciate you for saying that, but it unfortunately can't get back to that space. Let's enjoy the moment that we have coexisting, but we cannot get back to where we were, unfortunately.
Wow.
It was
Wow.
girl, it was I was proud of myself because I've never done that. Like,
I think it's important to make boundaries, and that's a
yeah,
good boundary to have, especially if you don't know that someone's behavior has changed. Like, we're not just gonna, based on who you are today and if it's anything close to who you were when we fell out, I'm not sure that us trying this again will work, especially if
yeah,
neither of us has changed from the people we were at that point. If it was petty, it's like one thing, like, like, okay, we
yeah,
just need to chill out. But if it was like some existential shit, like, nah, we're not about to go back and do that no more. We're just not.
yeah. I think that's very important to look at the person's actions and see if have they changed. And if
Absolutely.
they had not changed, you don't need that because it's gonna happen. Excuse me, it's going to reoccur. So I definitely think that.
Any regrets from the past year? Beat you to it.
You sure did. I think the only regret that I have, not only, one of my most important regrets is not doing the guest earlier, being realistic. I'm gonna just name it.
Okay.
Not being, I was afraid, right? So I think that is one of my regrets is not trying to bring guests onto the show that are not my friends sooner than I did. I think this is the perfect time to do
Okay. Okay. I
that.
also think that, like, you weren't that afraid because you said it repeatedly that was something that you wanted to
It's
happen.
a difference between saying and doing.
I don't think so, because what you did was plant the seed.
Yeah. Okay. I think I just had to rip the Band-Aid off and do it. But I think investing in it, I think I not regret. I wish I would have invested more like
Ah,
seriously when I
okay.
like did this, right? I think I definitely wish I would have did that more. And I think another thing that I regret is just like letting my guard down more. I just regret that and I'm trying to work on that in the new year. I'm very hard in certain spaces. I'm doing that and I need to work on that. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah, I'm like, ooh,
Um, I don't have any regrets for this year. Um, I Yeah, I really don't think that I have any regrets for this year. I don't think there was a single thing that I did or that I did. Some things happened to me, which, probably would have happened a little differently if I had done something different, but nothing catastrophic enough for me to be like, I should not have done that, or I should have done this.
yeah,
Maybe I could have taken more chances, but I pushed myself to do things this year that I had never done and to see things this year in a way that I had never seen them. And I'm so proud of the way that I approached this year.
yeah,
In spite of everything that has caused me stress, I have been my hugest advocate this year. I have backslidden a little bit. I slid back
we're
a couple
human.
times,
We're human.
but for me to show up for myself in the way that I've seen myself show up for other people this year, I just deserve like a pat on the back for that shit.
Yes.
So I don't have many regrets, and I
Yeah.
certainly don't regret us, having guests for the first time in March, because that was the perfect timing and the way we reacted to it.
It
If
was. I think it was.
anything,
Was it March?
it was March. It was David. It was in March.
It was June.
Are you serious?
I think we started with.
Oh, bitch, you right, because it was around the fucking damn.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was around the fucking protest. Okay, I'm so sorry.
No.
running that back.
You're fine. I had to think about it. 'Cause I was like, bitch, who do we have?
Oh damn, we've only been doing guests like this for 6 months.
We've
But
been
nonetheless,
doing it.
like
yeah.
I think we started doing these
June
around
15th.
these like video recordings of it a little earlier than that.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
We were flexible. We
We did
were
it during
resilient.
March.
We've been very resilient.
We did not stop. There was moments where we had that mental. I will name. We had those moments of conversation where we didn't know mutually if this was something that was going to continue.
The stress.
The
So much
stress.
stress. It was the beginning of the pandemic. And
It
I was
was.
like, look, I know that I need some time just to wrap my mind around this. You know, there were some
Yeah.
things happening up inside of I was newly into a relationship at the beginning of the pandemic. So
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
it was a lot. And I knew,
Yeah.
and that was the funniest thing about it, is because I was like, oh, well, this is not going to last, because this is obviously putting way too much pressure on any new relationship.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I don't regret going into that relationship. I don't
Yeah.
regret any move I made during the relationship. I don't regret making the decision to, separate. None of that.
Yeah.
No regrets. No
Yeah.
regrets.
No regrets. I like that. I think I'm glad. I definitely am glad that I persevered through this time and I've got through the trenches. That I felt were the lowest of lows. I'm glad that I'm in a space of I can like walk into spaces and be like confident of who I am and learning what I have to offer. And I am starting to hear people say that back to me, which I don't need to hear people tell me things, but it's just great to be like, bitch, I see you. I've yearned for that, for people to see the accomplishments that I have and that I'm working on. And I just like also when people come on the show and literally I know sometimes when we get off, we stay on with our guests and our guests just like
They've been so affirming. Yeah. I think the same way that we try to give flowers, we've had some guests really do the same for us, and it hits so differently because I think we're both people who love to advocate for others without historically showing up for ourselves in the same way. So having people do that back really affirms the fact that we really should be giving ourselves that recognition. And to you, I want to say people are starting to see you because you're allowing yourself to be seen.
Yeah. I didn't think of it like that. That's the weirdest thing. I thought of it as like, okay, people starting to know my name, people starting to know that I got something going on for myself. But it's like, no, bitch, you've literally like owned something of yourself and then also like have been proud to discuss it and also like have talked, and I didn't, and that's the thing. I don't be noticing my, and we talked about that with Bayshow. Like we gave Bayshow his flowers, right? But we don't even like flower ourselves. And I need to do that better. So I think transitioning, what are some blessings that you want for the new year?
The first thing I want is my financial blessing. The second thing I want is my creative blessing. I have worked really hard over the last 2 years. I did not quit my very well-paying job in retail for nothing. So not only have I worked, I gradually worked harder and harder and harder and stretched myself in so many different directions and showed myself that I can do that, that I have the bandwidth to do several things. So I will reap the benefits of that in the coming year. Know that.
Yes.
This month even.
Yes. And another question I want to ask you is what brought you joy this year? Oh, did we just say that?
No, not at all.
What brought you joy this year?
Sticking to calling myself baby boy. Because it just got me out of some trenches. Like I wasn't really deep in the trenches this year, but the moments that I started to get there and calling myself baby boy is only a small part of the overall loving myself. Loving myself has brought me an immense amount of joy.
Yes. For me, I double tap on financial blessings. I want the coins, the ducats, the moolah. I want all of that. I think it's rightfully owed to me. My money.
Run me my check.
Yes. But I think another blessing for me is I I want to continue to love myself more and through, and ultimately get to a space where I'm not second guessing my actions as often as I do. And then also like being able to admit my truth in spaces and not hold back um, because of the fear of others' judgment. So I definitely am wanting that in my blessings. And also like I just want to have genuine relationships that are healthy both ways, right? I want,
You're-
huh?
No, you finish.
Oh yeah. I am blessing. I would love to have relationships where I feel like this is like mutually feeding each other. More of those. I want more relationships like that because I can have those like with you and I can have those with Charles and things of that nature. But I want more relationships where I'm just like, this is like, we're both like, we support each other. We want each other to win. We want to check on each other's mental. I want that more in my new year because baby, I'm moving and grooving. And I need you to be on this train with me. And if you're not on this train with me, child, I'll take you off on that next exit. I'm letting you go. And I need to work on that. I need to let people off and not let them get back on that train. They cannot get back on this train that I have. And then what has brought me joy this year is moving on my own, officially like living on my own and things of that nature. I'm super excited. And I think I've seen my family way more this year than I have
You've seen
in
them
the
a lot.
past. And I'm excited. I think that brought me joy. I think I've been able to be in their presence more and be me more. So I'm excited. I'm even going back home next week.
Oh wow. Oh, well, that makes
It's the
sense.
holiday. But definitely definitely my brought me joy was my relationship with my family, and then also like moving on my own. The girls, she did it. She
You
thought
did
she
it.
couldn't do
You
it, but she
absolutely
did
did it. You made
it.
that fucking shit work, honey.
I was so ready to go.
Damn good. You did a damn good job.
I said,
You
I'm
really
off the
did.
door. Well, this is wrapping up. We're wrapping up our last episode before the new year.
Mhm.
Oh my God. This is
Mhm.
so interesting. When we come back, you all, we will be in the new year. We are super excited that you all are on this journey with us. We're going to come back. We're just going to take a little break because of the holidays and things of that nature. But if you all would like to continue the conversation with me on my Instagram and my Twitter, you can hit me up at _Lord Every. That is _LORDEVERY.
And you guys know you can follow me on Instagram at Derwin King. That's DERWINKING. And you can find me on Twitter at Free Negro. That's FREENEGREAUX.
And if you would like to continue the conversation on our podcast platform, you can hit us up on Instagram and Twitter at That Black Boy Joy. And if you would like to be a guest on the show or write into the show, you can hit us up at That Black Boy Joy Podcast at gmail.com. And of course, you all can check us out on YouTube, where all of our visuals of our podcast most recently are up there as well. So if you want to see our lovely faces, like we recommend everybody to, please like, subscribe, and follow us on our YouTube channel. And with that being said, please be so in love with who you are.
I'm talking about the